Look, my perspectives are fortified and my commentary gives jolts. So make sure you have your coffee of the month and your favorite mug to sip out of. Because I might say some things on this show that'll make you, take a few sips and think for a little bit. My friends know me as Kiki. For the rest of you, please put Miss in front of that. And please understand that the purpose of cafe commentary is to elevate and rise. So if it's not fortifying our lives for the betterment of ourselves, we have to change our elevation. Because life is not perfect and sometimes we have to shuffle through the BS to get to the real. You dig? Now look, the views on this show are my own and are not necessarily the views of Club Fortified and or its affiliates. So with everything I say or do on this show, it's assumptive because I stay in my own lane, honey, and actually don't know definitively. So please do your own research before you come for me and my opinions, okay? Now let's get this show started. This month's show covers manifestation versus hard work. Which one actually works? A thought-provoking take on success and mindset. Investing in yourself or in personal growth is best ROI. Reasons to spend money on content, coaching, and skills. But right before that, the connection between your thoughts and your reality. Exploring the law of attraction versus hard work. And to top it off, signs your relationship might be holding you back when love is more of a weight than a support system. Manifestation versus hard work. Which one actually works? Look, have you ever manifested something in your life? I'm talking about really getting down to the nitty gritty and focusing on that aspect of your life that really needed that change. Yeah, let's talk about it. Okay, look, manifestation is the practice of focusing your thoughts, your beliefs, your energy towards a desired outcome, the expectation, that it will eventually materialize. It's about aligning your mind, your spirit, and look, often your emotions with what you want and attracting it into your life, right? Now, in my opinion, we do this all the time in our lives. We think about the goals and the ways, that we can accomplish our desired success. We go after what we seek just by first seeing it in our mind's eye, right? And sometimes it can be tough to navigate through the unsure feelings of possibly being let down, but guess what? We do muster up, the courage and follow through on what we're attempting to manifest, right? And sometimes it works, and sometimes it's a dream deferred. But I can tell you now, manifesting what we want is not always easy. It's not always easy, but for myself, I found it to be a tool, that works majority of the time. And whether it's a short-term goal or long-term goal, okay? Now, the thing about manifestation is that the need sometimes has to be greater than the want. For example, my mama used to say, what you can't hear, you will feel. Well, manifestation is sort of like that, okay? Sometimes you can't hear the doubts and uncertainty, but you can most definitely feel it. The feeling you get deep down, in your gut is sometimes just the nudge and the motivation that you need to want to manifest greatness. You feel me? Visualization boards, affirmations, journaling. They're sort of tools that can be used to turn your dreams into reality. But with all of that, what about hard work? Okay, look. You see, hard work in contrast is a physical and mental effort directed towards achieving a goal, right? And it often involves sacrifice. Yeah, we gotta sacrifice. Consistent effort, educating ourselves, practice and perseverance through failure after failure until success is achieved, right? So why hard work? Well, why not? If you're not willing to work hard at fulfilling your, sought after success, then who would do it for you? Baby, you have to get up, get out, and do something. You hear me? Yeah, like now. You mean to tell me you can't get up and go do it for yourself? You go work a 9 to 5 working on someone else's dreams, huh? But then when it comes down to hustling for yourself, you too tired. You see what I'm saying? You see how I just did that? It's motivation, baby. No, but seriously, let's normalize recognizing that hard work truly does pay off. I'm not a preacher, but look, let me put this good word on here from the Bible. Hebrews chapter 1 verse 11 says that, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. You hear what I'm saying? But also keep in mind that the Bible also says that faith without works is what? Dead, honey. And that's in James chapter 2 verse 17 through 26. So go read it and study it to show yourself approved, honey. And essentially key elements of hard work are investing time in yourself. Self educating yourself so that the skills that you need to accomplish your goals are built, and being able to overcome obstacles such as self doubt and daily oppressions. Okay, listen, there's a lot of decisiveness about the two. Some people choose hard work over manifestation and vice versa. But in my opinion, success almost always requires a mixture of manifestation and hard work. So you can't have one without the other, okay? And I'm sorry, manifestation, it sets the directions, It basically clarifies your desires. It sharpens your vision, and it gives you internal permission to dream bigger, right? But manifestation without action is just daydreaming, baby. You still need hard work to build the bridge between your dreams and what? Your reality. And guess what? At this time, hard work without clear intention can lead to burnout, frustration, or chasing the wrong goals. You feel me? And manifestation aligns your spirit. Hard work moves your feet, baby. Did you catch that joke? Take a sip of coffee for me if you did. You feel me? Listen, listen. Uh, what's the true secret though? Huh? Look, okay. Dream it clearly, believe it fully, then hustle until it's real. Understand that you should manifest your vision. Work like it depends on you because guess what? It does. And that leads me to our next topic, the connection between our thoughts and guess what? Our reality. Mm. Look, there's a time and place for everything. So I'd like to explore the going ons and hard work of what we attract, okay? Look, we all know a negative Nancy or a filthy Phil. Those are the people who negatively manipulate their words, your perceptions, and who knows how to waste your dang on time, baby. As soon as you start to talk positively in front of them about anything, baby, they start to highlight what you did wrong way back in 1973 and the doggone 1800s. But look, keep those people away from you. And look, let's make it a big deal to attract what is beneficial for us to live in our greatness, okay? Look, have you ever noticed how simple some people could think things into existence while others grind day and night to make success happen? Look, the truth is your thoughts and your actions are both powerful forces, and understanding how they connect could be the secret sauce to more fulfilling life. Okay? So that negative Nancy or that filthy Phil attempts to corrupt what you attract will not succeed, okay? So let's talk about it, okay? Look, the law of attraction teaches us that like attracts like, meaning that, positive or negative thoughts bring positive or negative experiences into our lives, that we have, our life journey, okay, honey? Now, if you focus your mind and emotions on what you want, the universe, fate, or energy, it will move it in your favor. I call that God allowing the Holy Ghost to do a new thing. You hear me? In short, your thoughts create your reality, okay? So what we essentially give, our energy to is what we attract, right? Now, the connection between our thoughts and reality can either set us up for greatness and success or pity and grief. But how does all that tie into hard work, though? Mm. Well, look, hard work is the grind, baby. It's us putting in the effort, that time, discipline, and sometimes sweat and tears to turn dreams into reality, okay? It's the process of physically moving ourselves closer to our goals, right? In short, our actions create our reality, okay? And I said all that to say, law of attraction plus hard work together for our greater good, okay? When, we set the vision of ourselves, law of attraction. Then we move relentlessly towards it, hard work. I'm talking about clearly seeing and feeling our goals first. Okay. And then we hustle like, it already belongs to us. Our thoughts will give birth to our action. You see what I'm saying? Action gives birth to results. You feel me? Now, we have to stay positive when work gets tough, right? You know, hard work is not always fun. It's not. Setbacks do happen. Manifestation thinking, right? Like affirmations and vision boards, what I was speaking about earlier. It can keep our spirit alive when the grind wears us down. But above all of that, God is the answer for reassurance. So stay prayed up. Look, focus on solutions, not problems, baby. When we think positively, law of attraction mindset, and work diligently, hard work ethic, we stop fixation on problems and start focusing on solutions faster. Yeah, getting down to the nitty gritty, like I said. That's a powerful combo that can unlock bigger breakthroughs. You feel me? Our thoughts are the seeds, the work we do in the sunlight and water. Okay? We can't plant an idea and walk away, nor can we work tirelessly without any clear vision. Okay? For our best life, we need both. We think it, we work it, and guess what? We live it. Other than divine intervention from our almighty God, we are the architects of our reality. And let's make our blueprint brilliant and then build it brick by brick. Now, with all that being said, let's talk about the importance of our next topic for the month: investing in yourself, baby. While personal growth is the best ROI, reason to spend money on courses, coaching, and skills. Listen, here's a funny coin. My ROI is myself. I bought no stock, no crypto bet, no risky scheme, no deep regret. Instead, I spent on books and class, on coaching, wisdom, with some sass. A course or two, a skillful plan, a mindset shift. Be your own fan. While others slept, I stayed awake, investing smart for my own sake. They asked, "What's your portfolio shelf?" I smiled and said, "It's just myself. For every dollar that I sold, a brighter, better me has glowed." So, if you seek the finest wealth, don't chase the cash. Baby, look, bet on yourself. Baby, I can remember being a young mother with dreams and ambitions. I'm talking about aspirations. I was determined to excel in every endeavor in my life. In life, I found out that God places me where He wants me, safely, with a sound mind and personal resources that pick me up over obstacles that try to hinder my growth. And for that, I'm grateful. There's never a perfect way to get through the BS in your life, but there are well planned ways and tools to help us get to where, we need to be. That may be sometimes better than what we expected, okay? So let's talk about how we can invest in ourselves and just why personal growth is the best ROI, okay? When people talk about investing, right, they often think of stocks, real estate, or starting a side hustle. But one of the most overlooked, most powerful investments you can ever make is in yourself, right? Um, Courses, coaching, skill development, these aren't expenses. They are the highest return on investment, ROI, you'll ever get. My mother used to say, "Rakia, you have to invest in yourself. That's the only way you can make it in this world." So, look, why is personal growth the best ROI? I'll tell you this: you're becoming replaceable, right? You know, understand that the skills you possess, the confidence you have, um, and personal development can make you stand out in a crowded world. When you invest in learning new things that you can use as precious skills along this journey called life, you aren't just gaining knowledge, you're building security and opportunity for yourself and possibly your lineage that will, be around when you've left this plane. And it also pays dividends forever. Unlike a new car, which loses value the minute you drive it, the skills you learn or the mindset shifts you develop stick with you for life, making you more money, forming beneficial connections, and can prevent or present, I'm sorry, your opportunities or present you more opportunities year after year. Excuse me, I'm tongue tied. But anyway, imagine getting ahead while others stay stuck, okay? Most people stop learning after their formal education ends. When you keep investing in yourself, you create a serious advantage, statistically, over about 90% of the crowd who stopped evolving. And guess what? You can go check that calculation, baby. I might be off a little bit, but you catch my drift, okay? Look, when you level up, everything else around you, your career, your relationships, your health, naturally follows. So, look, pay attention to you. Spend wisely, grow boldly, invest unapologetically in you, honey. Now, after you've done all that positive manifestation and hard work, I'm talking about all of that investing in your own personal growth. Here comes somebody toxic, bitter, and wrong, bold son or daughter trying to dampen your light, huh? Because hurt people. And there's always a mofo sitting around looking and blinking trying to find out what's the problem. When the problem is themselves. They don't possess the need or muster up the audacity to work on them. So they pick with you. So let's talk about some signs that your relationship might be holding you back in this next segment, baby. So let's talk about some signs that your relationship might be holding you back. Love is supposed to lift you higher, fuel your dreams, and bring out the best in you. But sometimes, instead of being a rocket to your success, a relationship becomes an anchor around your ankles. When love feels heavy instead of empowering, it might be time to rethink that partnership, right? Now, first thing first, it might be some listeners listening right now who are toxic and don't know that they're toxic because they've normalized the selfishness that it takes to prohibit themselves the opportunity to heal, overcome, and grow. Okay. Um, they don't take the time to put in the work, to manifest a greater success. So they suffer from the lack of knowledge. And guess what? Don't you go holding their hand and singing kumbaya. Don't sit up there and pacify their schemes and wicked obsessions. For what? So that you can, take on their low vibrations? Baby, elevate and rise. That's what it's all about, being a better version of ourselves every day. Baby, stay fortified, okay? Now listen, when we choose to invite others into our lives, we have to make sure that, they are respecting our mind, our body, our souls. We have to make sure that they are not disrespecting our time and not disrupting our peace, baby. Because look, we need our peace, huh? Look, so let's talk about, the different signs that, relationships might be holding us back, right? The different signs. Okay, so I'll tell you this. One of them is you're always explaining yourself, right? You constantly have to justify your dreams, your goals, or even just wanting more out of life instead of feeling supported. It's like you feel judged or doubted, okay? And then another one is your energy feels drained. You don't got too much energy. You don't feel replenished, okay? Look, a good relationship should always keep you recharged, like plugging into an emotional outlet of sort. If you constantly feel exhausted, anxious, or depleted after interacting, that's a major red flag, baby. Move them along and out the door, honey. And they downplay your success as well. They act uninterested, they get jealous, or even, suddenly criticize you when you're achieving something or trying to achieve anything. Listen, a true partner claps the loudest for you. They don't roll their eyes, so to speak. And you're stuck playing small with them. Okay, you find yourself shrinking your ambitions, lowering your standards, or toning yourself down just to keep the peace or avoid conflict with them. Dreams should expand, not suffocate, okay? And you daydream about freedom. If you often fantasize about how much better, free, or a lighter life would be without them, that's not just your imagination, baby. It's your intuition speaking, honey. Listen, here's a fiery poem about this, right? It's called Get Your Ass Up and Away from Me. You hold my feet while I try to fly. You clip my wings, then ask why. You dim my sun, you cloud my day. So get your ass up and away from me, okay? You mock my dreams when they feel too big. You dance in place while I build and dig. You sip on doubt while I plant my tree. So get your ass up and away from me. I won't shrink down to fit your box. Baby, won't hand you keys to all my locks. This love's chain, found out, a new key. So get your ass up and away from me. My goodness, let this month's message for May resonate in your heart, your mind, your soul. You know, let it sink in that the best investment for you, that best ROI is investing in yourself. Because listen, honey, everything, anything that you manifest, your hard work, your people that you're in relationships with, whether they're friends, whether they're, you know, um, fellow employees, co-workers, whether it's a romantic relationship, all of that falls in place when you're able to know you and invest in you for the greater good of your own success. Let that sink in. And guess what? Thank you for listening in to the show this month. And remind you that
Another great
we
show
need
for
to
the
stay
record books.
fortified and we
Thanks for
elevate and
listening.
rise. So
Discover the
guess what?
perfect blend of flavor and
Rise. Stay
conversation.
fortified, y'all.
Download our drink recipe of the month, featuring a creative twist on coffee, and elevate your mornings with our premium coffee of the month, crafted for true coffee lovers at clubfortified.com. Don't forget to tune in every third Sunday of each month for the Cafe Commentary Show, where Ms. Kiki shares her thought-provoking perspectives on trending topics. Sip, savor, and connect at Club Fortified, your ultimate destination for coffee and conversation and life hacks to help you elevate and rise.